Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the digital weather now. Time now 11:01, trying to start as close to the top of the hour as we can, updating you on this monstrosity, something we've been tracking for quite a while now, a little over a week. That is Major Hurricane Florence, sustained winds in the Category 4 range. Want to talk about some things before I get to the forecast track, the update as of 11 a.m. No huge changes there, but a distinct possibility that we really need to discuss this morning. And I'm also I'm not blowing anybody off here, but I'm going to occasionally have to look down at my phone, read the comments, answer back as they come in. So pardon me if I do have to look down at my phone, also looking down at my weather computer, maybe just out of shot here, and adjusting the graphics so that I can answer your questions as specifically as possible. Okay, structurally, we're going to get to the science and meteorology here. This is a loop going back 6 hours. Okay, so before sunrise even. Notice here how the eye wall is kind of ragged. It's not a perfect swivel. It's kind of like when you put the top and it's rotating and it's not a perfect spin. It's kind of wobbly spin. Notice that here in the first few hours of the loop, little wobbly, and then all of a sudden you get see the bright whites boom like that, all perfectly circle around the center. It's strengthening. It's approaching at least the Gulf Stream. Shear has lessened. That was a factor overnight into early this morning. So likely pressure going to continue to fall. Wind's going to ramp up at least a little bit. And just structurally, visually, it is looking even more impressive. Now, I know there's been some confusion or, difference of opinion here about the size of Major Hurricane Florence. It is an incredibly powerful, incredibly dangerous Category 4 hurricane, but size-wise, this is about the size of I don't want to say Camille, I don't want to draw it to another storm, but it's an average-sized hurricane. The clouds extend out really far, but those tropical storm force winds really just in that core, traveling up towards North Carolina. So let's take a look at the latest watches, warnings, advisories. No changes here yet. So you're hearing a lot of stuff on social media, maybe a southward shift. That certainly is a possibility. We're going to go over the track here in some more specific data in just a moment. But I want to let you know we're kind of in a wait-and-see mode. So is the National Hurricane Center. So is the local National Weather Service office, as well as the office down in Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Columbia. These are our area weather service offices. They have not expanded the tropical storm or hurricane warnings here. So we're in a bit of a wait and see. The trends, as I've been talking about for the past few days, last night's was not very good for us. It was not a favorable trend. It would bring greater impacts into the coastal empire and into the low country, and the possibility, again, not a certainty, but a possibility of hurricane impacts Sunday into Monday. First alert weather day is going to get to the specific impact possibilities here in just a moment. And I know we have a lot of questions coming in. I don't mean to miss anybody, to blow anybody off, but I just want to make sure I get to the forecast, and I'm adjusting this as it comes in. And there really aren't any huge changes here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn some of this information off just so you can see it a little bit better at home, maybe on your tablet. Also going to adjust the movement here. This is the new data coming in, so I have to go through my weather computers and make sure that it is on correctly. And it's going west-northwest at 15 now, and that's pretty much expected there. Let me actually, the movement may have even changed a little bit more. It was looking like, okay, northwest at 15. So making that northward turn as expected. Here we go, northwest at 15. This is from the Hurricane Center. I was watching it cross, the lines of latitude and longitude earlier, a bit of a jog to the north, so they have measured that in degrees. Again, they're not just eyeballing it, they're actually measuring the area of lowest pressure, its distance and travel between two interval points, and that's kind of how they find the movement. So this is an official reading. Northwesterly, kind of making a beeline for coastal North Carolina. That part has not changed through and into late Thursday, early Friday as a Category 3. Here's the problem, and here's the uncertainty. And I'm going to turn the timestamps back on here so you can see it, but it's a little bit cluttered there because they're all, kind of jammed up there as it approaches the North Carolina coastline. Forecast to weaken gradually, but still be, a storm to be reckoned with. Coastal North Carolina, Category 3, Category 2 possibly as it approaches land. Maybe a southwestward dip, and then more of a west, and then a northwest motion resumes. If this track were to verify exactly, even though it comes in a little further south, we would be looking at relatively minor impacts here locally, relatively. If this were to take the more southerly route, parallel the coast, as some data has indicated, maybe impact us more directly, we would be looking at substantial impacts, the possibility of hurricane conditions in the coastal empire and low country. All right, so a lot of questions coming in. Pulling up the WTOC TV Facebook now. If I missed your question, I apologize. If you have any more comments, questions, concerns, you can reach out to me on Facebook. Just want to give your feedback. That too, of course, WTOC Cutter Martin. For those that may have never watched one of these, my name is Cutter Martin. I'm a meteorologist here at WTOC. Happy to have your viewership. Maybe you're watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, news app, weather app, social media. Do appreciate it all. Sean says, are we supposed to wait for hurricane to do that? No, not wait to make the turn. We're going to be able to have a decent idea even when it's up here, because remember, impacts are Sunday into Monday, and this will be Thursday, Friday. So we will have a while to watch it. Listen to your local emergency managers, your county officials, city officials, and of course WTOC Weather Team, National Weather Service, and Hurricane Center as well. Tyler Buford, Angel Waycross, Joanne in Vidalia, Gabriella in Bluffton, Tyler in Buford. As far as evacuations, I cannot tell you whether to evacuate or not. I can't make that decision for you, your family. So much has to do not only if you're in a zone, what zone you are in, the level of your property. Are you firefighter? Are you a nurse? Do you have to stay? Do you have extenuating circumstances? All of those are factors, and I totally understand. In some ways, can kind of relate to that. But just want to let you know that I can't make that decision for you. We've gone through that with Irma and with Matthew. Wish I could, but there's so many variables to everyone asking right now, and I can't answer that for you just yet. So many questions coming in about projected wind and rain. Going to get to that in just a moment. Want to turn these times back on and bring a clearer picture as to the time that this may occur. All right, here we go. Zooming back out. So, and I know they're kind of bunched up here. Bear with me. Hopefully this is legible. I'll clarify it for you. Friday morning, approaching very close to the kind of the Cape Fear area, Wilmington area, maybe just south of the OBX, the Southern Outer Banks, and it'll be moving west, southwest, or west if it follows that cone. But remember, or if it follows that line, it could be anywhere within the cone, perhaps paralleling the coast, heading more into our neck of the woods. That is a possibility, not necessarily the official forecast, but a possibility that we watched develop beginning yesterday afternoon. I said, hey, and I'll admit this. I said, hey, one model run. Then we had a little more yesterday evening and overnight. We can't just go model run to model run. We have to watch for these trends to develop, and we have plenty of time to watch them because computers, there's wild swings. If you follow hurricanes pretty frequently, any form of weather, there can be wild swings. It makes meteorological sense to an extent, and it's something that doesn't happen very often. So we just had to see that develop over a couple model runs, and now we're realizing this is a distinct possibility, and it will be moving off to the west and southwest. This is Saturday morning still between Friday morning 8 a.m. Of course, this won't verify exactly. There will be a little bit of changes, but this is the best forecast, latest from the National Hurricane Center. From Friday morning off of Wilmington, southeast of Wilmington, Saturday morning southwest of Wilmington, literally that little span right there in 24 hours. Crawling off to the west and southwest, and it's possible it could head south and then head west. A possibility of one of a few different possibilities, and one that we can't ignore, but not necessarily the most likely scenario still, but something that is deserving of our attention, something that we will be watching fairly closely here over the next 24 to 36 hours. All right, I'm going to bring up another map for you talking about as I load this up here, bear with me, I kind of drew out some of the possibilities. For those wanting to see the track still, there is the latest. We are technically in the cone, the WTOC viewing area, and I know people may be getting frustrated that I'm ignoring some of the questions. I'm just not able to keep up with all of them. Ashley, when will we know if Savannah needs to evacuate? Listen, we will send the alerts here. I'm going to go ahead and go off of Facebook. Pardon, my allergies are kicking up in my eyes. I'm going to leave Facebook here for just a second, and I'm going to open the WTOC weather app. This is a good resource. Weather information here. We send videos to the app discussing updates, meteorologically speaking, the weather forecast aspect of things. But in the news app, if you have the WTOC news app, you can be updated and alerted to any evacuations, any school closings. If that indeed becomes the case, you will be one of the first to know with the WTOC weather app. So just a reminder, there are no evacuations in effect right now. We are going to have a briefing coming up here in just a few minutes, 11:30 from Beaufort County, maybe more to follow as well. So going back to this, I'm just having to look through all my weather graphics here as we kind of I kind of gauge the conversation, see what people are wanting to know. Here are the three possibilities, if they can be narrowed down to three. West-southwest movement, then west, perhaps directly impacting our area. Currently, not the most likely. I think this middle route may be the most likely, similar to the National Hurricane Center, but a bit of a dip, then a westerly, then northwesterly resume there. And these two could bring some impacts to the area. The northernmost one would bring little, if anything, but the southernmost would be worse. And this is a greater concern or possibility after looking at some of last night's data, this morning's data, something that we will certainly need to be paying attention to. All right, folks asking about specific impacts. Again, this is not a forecast. This is a possibility, but we got to share the data with you because there are several runs indicating something similar. But first of all, disclaimer, any little wobble, any shift to the north with this, and we would see much less of an impact. But bear with me. I'm going to pull up our Windcast model. This is European model data, and I'm going to bring it out. The data takes a minute to load up sometimes. Here we are Thursday, starting to get a little breezy, going deeper into our weekend. In fact, I'm going to have to extend this out a little bit further. Thursday, Friday, breezy, no significant weather impacts as far as severe weather, but bringing this out into the weekend. Sunday, Monday are the days to watch. That is the time that we are going to be really not fine-tuning the forecast, but also encouraging you to stay extra in tune with the latest data. All right, let's switch this over. European global surface. All right, here we go. Worst case, these are the winds. I'm going to go ahead and switch over the plot so that it matches, and that is correct. So we're talking sustained winds here. 30 to maybe 40, 50 miles per hour. Again, so much is dependent on exactly what happens with the system, where it goes, how it behaves. But this would put gusts in the tropical storm force range here, especially coastal low country areas. This is indicating the area of lowest pressure, generally calmer conditions, and the nastier winds again on the western side. But that would bring tropical storm force winds, probably sustained 40, maybe gusts 50, 60, low country and the beaches. But again, this is very specific and it has so much to do with its exact track. If it drifts off to the south and west inland, we'll be talking less wind, just as much rain. If it remains offshore, then kind of cuts west, more time over water. It loves that energy from the ocean, and it will remain stronger longer, and we'll be talking about stronger winds Sunday and Monday. Again, this is a bit of a worst case, but a possibility that we're going to go ahead and mention here. Let's see. You're very welcome, Kimberly. Connie, what about Alma, Georgia? I cannot give specific impacts from a forecast, but I will tell you, you may possibly have tropical storm conditions, but you know, this is Sunday, Monday, today's Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, almost 4 days away, and certainly things can and will and do change, but we want you to be aware of the possibility. That's why the forecast doesn't necessarily go this bonkers just yet, but it is worth noting, worth keeping in the back of your head. Bonnie says, Ashley, the mayor of Savannah or governor tell you exactly. Local officials, state officials, whoever makes that call, those are the ones that are going to be the ones to listen to, and we'll certainly pass along that information to you should they call an evacuation. Debbie, so again, the Georgia is going to drop the ball on evacuations. Debbie, no, I didn't say that. That's definitely not. We have plenty of time. We have got to remember this is Sunday. We're not worried about impacts Thursday, Friday, but Sunday, Monday, and they're watching it so closely. We know SEMA, Chatham County Emergency Management Association. We know, Georgia and surrounding states, the national government. They have a lot of resources here. They're keeping an eye on it. They're not going to wait till the last minute, but we have time to wait and consider so that we don't find ourselves in a bind where everyone hits the road at once and then we end up having to backtrack or send folks into a place that maybe is not the best place, is not the best. Cheryl, that was not me just referring to that comment. I'm just talking about the weather here. Myra wants to know where Pat Prokop is. Of course, the living legend is still out and about enjoying weather. I don't know if he's enjoying this forecast. Pretty rough out there. But again, I can give you pretty much the same forecast here, WTOC.com, on our social media. And I know it's difficult, and I know you want a specific forecast for your community, your neighborhood right now for Sunday, Monday. But I got to tell you, you got to hang on with me just a little bit longer, because what I would tell you is just a possibility. There's a possibility over here on the extreme end. There's a possibility over here on that we're not going to see very much in. And somewhere in the middle, depending on the best determination and realization of the data, is the official forecast. And we're still not forecasting a major wind, major surge event here locally, but there are concerning trends overnight with some of the data indicating, again, whatever wind there is, center of circulation passing a little bit closer to home, pulling in a lot of water, south and southeasterly winds, and at least tropical storm conditions as we get into our Sunday, possibly lingering into Monday. Samantha, let's see. If you're just worried about it, just leave. Again, everything at your personal discretion, your family's discretion. You're kind of the decision maker in your own life there. I can give you the best information I can, but certainly something we're going to continue to keep watching and deserves our attention, but something that that I cannot give you exactly. Any meteorologist, I cannot give you an exact rain total yet, cannot give you an exact wind total, or wind speed estimate as to how strong they may get, but certainly something that we are watching closely. Significant wind, significant rain impacts are a possibility. And I want to bring up another scene for you. This is the chance from the National Hurricane Center of tropical storm force winds in regards to Sunday and Monday. Likely now, Hampton County, Beaufort County, Jasper County, and almost a certainty, it is a certainty, up Charleston, further to the north, possible there from Swainsboro, Statesboro, Claxton, Hinesville, Hunter Army Airfield, the south side of Savannah. And remember, tropical storm force winds, sustained winds greater than 39 miles per hour, and gusts higher than that, and not likely Douglas, not likely Alma, Waycross, Hazelhurst, but this will adjust with every update from the Hurricane Center, especially if we see that track dip, I should say, a little bit further south. This will continue to be updated. It's just something that changes. I don't want you to be sold on this. I'm just showing you the latest information from an official source, the National Hurricane Center. And this has the reality, I think, if that southern trend holds, we'll, of course, see these values ramp up. And the possibility of tropical storm force winds, if not a little bit stronger, increasing here, low country and the coastal empire. Isaac, just getting here. When will it be confirmed about the rain, winds, etc.? Thursday. Thank you so much for asking that, Isaac. Should have covered that earlier. Thursday into Friday, especially Thursday night, Friday morning, we're going to have a better idea as to what exactly. I can break it down for you county by county, probably community by community. We're just talking about a possibility here, talking about the worst case potential right now, something that we will be monitoring here over the next several days. So getting to the 7-day forecast, this is what we're calling for right now. First alert weather day Sunday, Monday, because not only will the weather impact you those days, or has a substantial chance of doing that, but also days where severe weather, if that southern track holds or tendency holds, it'll be severe. There will be nasty weather, the potential for dangerous conditions Sunday, Monday. But that is a chance of happening, and that chance is currently less than 50%, but it is something that has climbed overnight, and we're going to have to see how data comes in today, tonight, tomorrow. The ridge of high pressure to our north is kind of helping steer this, shove it off to the south, because remember, I'm going to draw it out for you now. Some people may be questioning the meteorology behind my estimate. I understand you're a concerned citizen. You're a lover of weather knowledge. I'm not going to criticize that, but I just want to explain myself and why there is quite a bit of uncertainty. And it really is a complicated forecast. It is about much more than the area of high pressure to our north, which is over here essentially. We really had two, high there, high here a bit. We have an area of low pressure down here. And this is going to get up here. Again, it's moving west-northwest, more northwesterly now. It's going to make it into this area, just off the coast of North Carolina, most likely. This may strengthen. What caused the big changes, this ridge came in a little stronger, this ridge came in a little weaker, because remember, competing forces. This wants to send it south. This ridge, I know it's invisible, it's above our heads, just trying to kind of draw it out for you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to please go over to my Facebook page. I'll answer those even after this broadcast ends. This goes north. They are simply competing, and one is going to win. And the data last night said that this was going to win. Some of the data did. That is a change from earlier data. We knew it was going to move under one of these ridges to kind of sit in here, but this one says this is strong enough, this is weak enough to give a more southern movement, again, after it approaches the North Carolina coast. Best analogy here, it's like throwing a leaf in a pool. You don't know exactly where it's going to float. We're watching, in this case, major hurricane, I know not comforting here, major hurricane Florence, Category 4, moving to the west-northwest, continuing that movement at 15 miles per hour now. We're going to have another update for you coming up on the news at noon, and more to come from local officials here on WTOC.